Awesome. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And the sunny, if you're in Washington State, oh my goodness, I hope you're enjoying this beautiful, gorgeous sunshine out there. Staying a little cool, getting cool, right? Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoy coming to do these presentations. It's one of my favorite things to do during the different months that we host these. So thank you for having me. My name is Ruth Kaneko. Again, I'm one of the financial educators here at BECU. Been in the financial industry for about 16 years now. And my role is actually to go out and give presentations like this and do seminars and webinars. And this is one of the most fascinating topics, I believe, to me, is just understanding and preventing fraud, mainly because people just aren't robbing banks like they used to. I mean, shoot, right? I'm just kidding. It's not a good thing. So instead of not robbing banks, they're doing things electronically and trying to steal your money through very nefarious purposes and ways they go about this. So today we're going to talk about what are some ways that you can protect yourself in a digital world. And that being said, there's a lot of different scams out there that we're going to be talking about. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat and we can get to those for sure. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and just start right off. So one of the things I want to talk about first is you probably you see a lot of stories in the news out there, and there are a lot of unfortunately scams happening that we see time and time again. It seems like every other day or every day we're seeing a data breach or something happening with people trying to steal other people's information or money. This happens to be one of those stories. There is no audio or video on this one, it's just the picture. But this is actually a story of a lady, I believe her name is Ethel. I'll have to make sure, but she actually was a victim of a romance scam. And we're going to be talking about romance scams a little bit. But this is a very important story that you probably may have saw. It was out of Philadelphia, and unfortunately, this lady was scammed out of about $40,000. She thought she was talking to somebody, and she found the love of her life, and yeah, so she found the love of her life, and unfortunately, he started scamming her out of money. And unfortunately, with romance scams, they got all the time in the world to establish a relationship with the people they're trying to scam. So that is one thing that is very important to watch out for. She unfortunately, or this lady, she was very kind. She was like, I could either hide from this and shame, or I could be like, you know what? Let me tell the story so that other people can learn from what I went through and hopefully not have to go through it again. So we're going to talk about these in a little bit as well, but that's just one of the scams that we've seen a lot of. If you ever see or know people that are like, kind of reclusing themselves from talking to you, or maybe they're talking about a romance that they particularly had recently, but they're not going to share any a lot of details. It may be a romance scam, so maybe dig deep a little bit deeper into your friends. Just kind of talk with them or your family members, maybe your grandparents or your parents as well. This actually happened to one of my family members very recently, and they do not. The scammers don't really. They don't. Um, um, go for people who have a lot of money in particular. They're going for anybody. They're going for anybody who has money to send them or who will send money to them. So if you kind of maybe are thinking, hey, this person might be involved in a romance scam, talk with them, see if you can get more information of and help them in that way. But again, we'll talk about that more later. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? What is fraud versus what is a scam? There is a difference. So fraud, of course, is any dishonest or illegal activity. So it's the activity that's meant to deceive you, to make you give up any personal information or your money, right? As opposed to a scam, it's actually a type of fraud that often trick people in a more personal way. So you got frauds and you got scams, right? So my first question to you all is this. What is the weirdest text or call, weirdest scam text or call you've received? I think I actually got one today. It seems like, I don't know about you all, but it seems like we're doing a lot of different, yep, exactly. We're just seeing a lot of text scams, a lot of call scams. So what I want you to do is tell me in the chat, what's the weirdest scam text or call that you have ever received? And I'm going to actually pull up this one and show you. Go and tell me in the chat, what's the weirdest one you've ever received? Oh, nobody's gotten any? All right, I'm going to pull up mine. Okay, so mine was this morning. Mine was a good to go scam. Has anybody ever seen that one before? All right. Let me go through this because there's a lot of them. Yes, toll fee from a state I've never had a car in. Yes, absolutely. Toll fees are out there. Those scams. Oh my goodness, I think everybody gets this. They just master those. Toll, yep, exactly. One person said that they showed the BCU phone number that I checked on the line to see if it was their number. Yep. Your financial institution scammers are really good at that. We'll talk about that in a second too. Let's see, another one, group chat that said my email is wrong and the link was weird. Yes, and good for you for noticing that link was weird. Emails about immigration status. Yep, a lot of scamming there. Oh my goodness, there's so many. Facebook wanting your password. Yes, person texts him saying they want to purchase gift cards to clear my checking account. Yep. Oh my goodness. Good to go scams. Always, I think, are out there. Yes, one of the best scams I've ever seen was I think the other day, it was actually last week, it was a scam from Target, and they wanted to know if I would like to work from home to work for Target and only working 4 hours a week, and I would get $6,000 a month. Amazing deal, right? Oh, releasing the delivery ample. Yes. So there are so many different scams out there. First of all, I'm sorry that that has happened to you because it seems like we're getting them every single day. So, weirdest tech scholar scam. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all seen those scams out there. So why are we getting these? Well, it's because the scammers are trying to get things like, of course, your username, your password, your account numbers, so they can get to your finances. They're trying to just obviously your money, your social security number. Particularly, these are called social engineering scams, right? Social engineering scams. These scammers try to get you to take action without thinking. So all of you all, and what I've gathered from the chat messages, you're like, it was a weird number, it was a weird link, right? We all have this, it's not right. And when you know something's not right, typically you go with that feeling. And when you have social engineering scams, these are things like phishing, smishing, and vishing scams. So these are things like any scams or coming your way through email, text message, or voice call. These are all social engineering scams, right? So anytime you get a text message or an email, these are going to be those types. And these are kind of some examples. And I think some of you actually mentioned these and the ones that you've seen. The one on the left, like the UPS, one of my favorites. You have a package coming. I almost fell for this one. My in-laws live in Japan and they sometimes send us some packages for my little ones. And they actually said, oh, a package is coming. And literally right after she texted me that, I got this message that said, oh, UPS wasn't able to complete your delivery. Click here. And I almost clicked on it until I realized, don't do it. Oh, you silly, don't do it, right? Thank goodness. Another one you may see is Amazon Prime. Has anybody ever gotten these before? Yeah, your account has been inactive for security reasons. We took this action before the billing information you provided did not match the information of the card issuer. Update your payment information, right? So usually, Amazon won't send these kinds of messages, but you do not want to click on this. You want to go to the website and maybe just check your information there. If they send this to me, I'd be like, well, whatever. My account's been open all the time. I use, of course, Amazon way too much. So how do you avoid phishing, smishing, and vishing? How do you avoid these things? Well, first of all, it's hard to avoid them. We get these on server lists. The information our information is sold on the dark web, right? For not a whole lot of money. Our emails, anything made public can be used, right? To send you messages. So it is kind of hard to avoid them. That's the only thing. But when you do get them, which I'm glad you all have already shared, is you're not sharing your personal information, right? Don't share your personal information ever over phone, text, or email. Just not a good idea. It's a good idea to get into a habit of not sending any personal information over those ways. Watch for red flags. Don't click links or respond to suspicious messages. A good rule of thumb is if you are sent an email, you can and they send you a link, you can actually hover over that link and it'll show you exactly where it's going to be sending you. And if it looks strange, of course, which it probably will, if it's a scam, then you know it's email to avoid, right? Verify the sender. So you get a lot of these when you're dealing with financial institution scams. Those types of scams will be like, oh, maybe your financial institution will send you if they send you an email saying your information needs updating, here, click this link to update your information. Typically, financial institutions will never send you information like that, right? Or if the scam email says call this number, or your financial institution scammer calls you and says, "Hey, we saw something on your account. Looks like fraud. Can we have your full digit or your full 16-digit debit card number?" Well, they don't need that information, right? They already have that information. So if you ever get a phone call or anything like that from your financial institution, I would just hang up and be like, "Thank you," and and then call them back on the number listed on the back of your debit card, not the number listed on the caller ID, which scammers can spoof. So try not to do that as well, but verify the sender as well. I got when I was, oh gosh, it was a long time ago. BSU called me up and they said, "Hey," and I obviously have accounts there. And BSU called me up and said, "Hey, it looks like you have a purchase from Colombia, $30. Have you purchased something in Colombia?" And I was like, "Nope." And this was the financial crimes department. And this actually presentation was created with the financial crimes department as well. So they called me and they were like, "Oh, this was not your purchase." And I said, "Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I will give you a call back." So I actually hung up on them. And then I called back the number that I knew was the BECU number. And I called and said, "Hey, I just got a call from BECU. Is this really you?" And the nice thing is, they were able to the nice thing is that they said, "Yes, of course that was or yes, that was us, but thank you for calling us back," right? Because nobody's going to get mad if it's a legit place that where you called them back to verify their information, right? Yeah, so that was good. So when in doubt, always verify the sender. And we'll talk about that more a little bit later too. Keep your software updated. This is one of those ones that I think we've all been uh, probably bad at. At least I've been bad at this. If you have a go-to person who helps you update your software and all your technology needs, that's great. For me, it's my husband. I'm like, "Honey, just update this for me." Or he always just comes to me, "Did you update? Did you update?" I used to be so bad at it until I realized that the updates are happening because these programs or systems or like your iPhone has updates all the time because maybe they found a wormhole or something that scammers are able to get into that they're trying to update this to protect your information. So keep your software updated at all times when possible. All right, I see lots of fun stuff happening in the chat, which is great. I love that. Keep it going. All right, next one. Have you ever seen an ad or message that seemed too good to be true? Have you ever seen a message or ad that seemed too good to be true? Tell me in the chat. All right. All right. Yes, perfect. Looks like some people have. Yep. Yep. Exactly. And I think I just told you the story about the um Target calling me up and being like, "Yeah, job offers. You get those job offers in the mail." Yep, job offers that you didn't apply for. Yep, exactly. I'm getting a lot of things from fake LinkedIn. "Oh, people checking out your I or something about, "Oh, let's you apply for this job. Let's do that." So I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't apply for that job." All right. Exactly. So a lot of times when you are getting things like ads or messages that seem too good to be true, these are going to be things are what's called advanced fee fraud. So we talked about social media fraud, things like that. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But advanced fee fraud are going to be frauds or scams happening where they're trying to, again, get you to send them money. One person was talking, or give them your banking details. In return for a future reward, right? One person was saying that they got a scam asking them to buy gift cards. No joke, a coworker I work with got this email from what she thought was our boss, the CEO of BECU. And this email asked her, "Hey, can you please buy me some gift cards? Like, go ahead and buy me 20 gift cards for about $50 each, and I'll reimburse you, and we'll just get the reimbursement go through and to give to such and such a person or such and such a group." And my coworker was like, "Oh, yeah, that seems legit. I mean, I know this person. I know, I've never had him ask me that before, though." Thank goodness she went and she asked him and she was like, "Hey, is this you? Did you ask me this question?" She said, "No." He said, "No, thank goodness." She caught it. So advanced free frauds are going to be scams where things like you may see lottery or prize scams, employment scams, right? Employment offers, investment or retirement scams. I don't know about you. I know you can congratulate me, but I have won the lottery 5 times. Whoop, whoop. All right. I won the lottery 5 times, but I've never seen any money. I think it may be that I've never actually purchased a lottery ticket and I didn't win. But for some reason, I keep getting these text messages that say, "Congratulations, you've won the lottery." And all you need to do to get this $1 million is to send us $200 for all the clerical stuff that we're going to go through, and so we can clear the deck to get you this $1 million, right? So again, advance free fraud. Yep, you won the lottery too. I see somebody was saying. Yep. So you just need to give them a little bit of money for for them to give you this a large amount of cash, because obviously they don't have it to get they don't have the $50 to get you that money or $200. Exactly. So lottery or prize scams, employment scams, investment retirement scams, and unfortunately, investment retirement are one of those nefarious scams that are just devastating when they happen, right? Employment scams you can kind of smell a mile away, where somebody will say, "We'd love to hire you. We want you to do this job. We're going to actually send you $1,000 for you to go ahead and set your home desk or home office up." And so you get this check in the mail, you cash it, and then you start setting up your on office. And they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We sent you too much money. We were only going to send you $700. So go ahead and feel free to wire us that $300 back." So you go and you wire them that $300, right? Now, what's going to happen to that check once you deposit that check? So the checks, if you deposit a check in ATM, the ATM does not catch that it is a fraudulent check. Those checks have to be processed a day or two later to be able to go through a process to realize, "Oh my gosh, this is a fraudulent check." Once that happens, the $1,000 is pulled out of your account, and now you are on the hook for $1,000 plus that $300 that you sent them, right? So you're on the hook for all that money because you already gave that to them. So that is one thing you want to be very careful of anytime anybody sends you a check. Or has anybody ever gotten a fake check in the mail? Like it looks really real, very, very real. Yeah, exactly. So you want to be very careful of those types of things. Another one's investment retirement scams. Investment, anytime you have like a retirement account, investment account, if you get any type of emails that say, "Hey, we have changed up your deductions, we have changed up your the wiring information for them to send you checks or something, or for them to send you money, or you to send them money, something happening with the investment," you want to verify that this is the correct information, right? Typically, we see a lot of this with housing scams. If you are, there's this gentleman who was purchasing a house. Everything was done. He was like already, he was ready to send the wire for to buy the home to the escrow company. He got the wire instructions. Everything was doing great. And all of a sudden the escrow company, the fake escrow company, sent him an email, looked exactly like the email from the escrow company, emails he'd gotten before numerous times. And the email said, "Oh yes, we would like to thank you for your purchase. We have actually changed our escrow our wire number through the escrow company. Here is the new digit number." And so he didn't verify it. He sent the money, and I'm sorry, it wasn't the full payment. It was the earnest money it was the earnest money. And he sent this I think it was like $40,000 to this new wire number, to this new information they gave him, and it was gone. Because once he sent it with wire fraud, is very hard to get once you send the money out, it's very hard to get that money back through wires. Very, very hard to get back. I mean, almost close to none. So you want to be very careful when you get any type of new wire information. If you're doing a large payment, large money transfer, and this does happen more than you would think. So be very careful on that. Okay, so that's up. So another thing too is when you see any type of advanced free fraud, again, they're probably dealing with, "Hey, we're going to send you a check for this." And the checks, you want to take a look at these checks. Anytime you get a check nowadays, you want to be kind of leery, I would say. Not like, that all checks are fraudulent, but you want to be careful because not all of us deal in checks a lot anymore. But you want to try to spot the scams, right? One of the places you want to look for is that if somebody sends you sending you an electronic scam, I'm sorry, electronic check, you want to be careful that most of the time with electronic checks are usually a scam. Okay. Um, eh, Always verify these before you cash them or put them in your bank or your financial institution. You want to check a couple different things. You want to check the endorsement, right? Who's endorsed by? Check the check number, the routing number. You want to check the things like so. For instance, in this case, the routing number. You can actually look online and you can say, hey, so if you take a look at this check, what are some things that you see that are a little bit off? Tell me in the chat, what are some things that you see that are a little bit off about this check? If you were just to look at it and be like, somebody gave this to you, what would you be like? Oh, I'm not quite sure yet if I want to cash this. Yeah, Walgreens. There we go. Walgreens. It's not Walgreens, it's Walgreens, usually one word. Exactly. Wrong spelling. Yep. Data's old, absolutely. Check number. You think with Walgreens, they may write more than 1,936 checks, maybe if they're for the company, right? That may be a super low number. USA Bank, I've never heard of that before. Exactly. So you want to pay attention to all this. The bank logo, you can actually go on, which I'm sure you all know, you can go online and check in their routing number and see if it's an actual legitimate bank routing number, right? Banks financial institutions usually do not change their routing numbers. They will stay that way forever, usually, and unless something drastic happens, but that's usually the routing number they will keep. So you want to watch for things like that. Another thing you want to watch for when you look at the like employment scams we talked about, investment scams. You may have seen something like this where it says, "Dear member, we have a can't miss investment opportunity for you. Log into your account for more information." Does this look like a legit, oops, sorry, let me go back here pardon me. Does this look like a legit one in terms of here? If you take a look at this routing number, I'm sorry, the routing number, if you take a look at this link, does this look legit to you? It doesn't to me, right? And if you hover over it even more, it's a picture, so I can't hover over it. But if you hover over it even more, it'll show you where it's taking you to. So be very careful of links. I got one the other day and I can't remember what it's for, but the link was just weird. Oh, it was you have a parking ticket and we will be coming after you if you do not pay it, right? I have not received a parking ticket, but I noticed the place they were sending me, the first part looked legit. It was like WSDOT, but then the rest of it did not look legit. It looked off, looked weird, and I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to check this out. So I looked on, you look on Google and you're like, no, this is actually not the right site they're sending me to. So watch for that with investment scams. Now, how do you avoid these types of scams? Obviously, if it's too good to be true, go with your gut. Never pay money up front for anything if it's anything like that. Watch out for unsolicited offers. Research the company or recruiter. If you are in the field for getting a new job, research the company or recruiter that's recruiting you, right? That's coming sending you emails. Is this a legit company? You may have to do a little bit more digging than you thought. And guard your personal information, obviously. Okay, so those are advanced fees fraud. By the way, love what's happening in the chat. I can't read all of them, but right now, but I love this. Oh yeah, one person was saying I don't answer the phone if I don't recognize the number and let folks leave a message. Yes, oh my goodness, it's so true. That's what I encourage everybody to do because if the spoofers have gotten so good at spoofing their numbers, I literally got somebody calling me. It was my number, but it was one digit off. And I was like, oh, it's my area code. Maybe it's somebody I know. Totally, hello, silence, right? So you want to be very careful about that. If somebody worthwhile actually calling you, they'll leave a message for sure. All right, social media scams. Woohoo, my personal favorite. I think everybody knows about social media scams, right? You've probably seen these time and time again. Scammers are trying to get you, again, personal information, money, access to your account. These are some ones that are going around and have gone around for a long time that you want to be careful of. But have you ever received a message from someone you didn't know on social media? Could tell me in the chat, have you received a message from someone you didn't know on social media? Yes. Yep. Yep. Instagram. Yep. Absolutely. So you get message all the time. I have been getting so many emails or so many friend requests from all these people I don't even know. I'm like, this is bizarre, right? So if you get a request from somebody you don't know, maybe they really want to be your friend, right? Exactly. This person is saying, and for some reason they really want to be your friend. Yeah, they really do. And they usually what will happen is send you a message maybe through your chat, a direct message They'll probably send you a message saying, "Oh, you want to chat on WhatsApp?" Be very careful if somebody wants to chat on WhatsApp. It's a great service if you use it for legit purposes, right? WhatsApp, a lot of scammers will use WhatsApp. So, for instance, my family member who got involved with a romance scam, they thought they were married to the Prince of Saudi Arabia. And that the king of Saudi Arabia had married them over the phone. And they initially approached my family member by saying, uh, hey, I remember you went to school here. Can I get, would you like to talk? And so they gave her a WhatsApp call number. WhatsApp is very untraceable. That's why a lot of scammers use it. So you want to be careful of anybody who invites you to do things on WhatsApp. Um, just be very careful of that. Yeah, exactly. Especially with social media things. Social media, you have scams like, of course, impersonation, not knowing if that's the right person you're talking to. Flexing is one of those things where somebody will flex different things like cash, or you'll see pictures of somebody on social media that's maybe really wanting you to be a friend, and they're flexing their money that they have, their cars, their houses, their beautiful stuff that they've bought, usually through nefarious purposes. So you want to be careful of those ones, especially. And like I said before, sweetheart scams. My grandmother, who we were friends on Facebook forever for a long time, and out of the blue, she wanted to friend me again. And I said, Grandma, we're already friends. I called her up, Grandma, why are you trying to face or friend me again? We're already friends. And I already said we're friends. Obviously, somebody had gotten to her profile and made a fake account. So do be leery of those ones as well. I would just delete them. Be very careful. Also, on things like social media, Instagram, make sure that none of your information is public. In other words, if you are on Facebook and you go to your privacy settings and make sure everything is on private so that people who are just searching names can't see your name, your address, your name, your phone number, your email address. Because once they have that information, it's very easy to kind of work you over. So be careful of those two. Now, sweetheart scams, we talked about a little bit before. Usually somebody will contact you through a chat room or through the chat on like a direct message on Facebook or things like that, any social media platform. Case in point, unfortunately, is this guy. Now I don't know if you all know who this is. He's kind of flying under the radar. I'm just kidding. You all know who this is, Brad Pitt, right? Um, so a couple years ago, there was this woman in France who was an interior decorator, and she thought, goodness sake, she was talking to Brad Pitt. She was going to work with him. Honest to goodness, the guy whoever was scamming her, the person who was ever scamming her, was sending her pictures of himself as Brad Pitt. And she, honest to goodness, thought she was talking to him. She literally got scammed out of, I believe it was either 600,000 or $800,000 via this scammer who was claiming that he needed money from her to get all his medical bills that he had to pay. Brad Pitt, because he is he doesn't have a lot of money, right? So unfortunately, Brad Pitt's team actually had to come out on Facebook. Exactly. Why would Brad Pitt need money? But again, she thought she was going to be, they're in a relationship, and his team actually had to come out and remind fans that he is not on social media after this woman got scammed big time, right? So his team actually had to say he is not on social media for this particular reason because people use him to scam other people out of money. Unfortunately, again, it does happen. And you think that, oh, I'm not going to fall for that. There's no way I'm going to fall for this. This is totally a scam. You would be surprised. Again, scammers are somewhere off, maybe in a warehouse with computers in front of them. It's a legit 9 to 5 job, 9 to 5 job they go to, and they have all the time in the world to sit there and talk to people, scam people out of their money. And they usually start small. They usually won't start with, hey, I need $500. No, scammers will start with, I need $5, or can you send me $10? And they'll ask you, and once they know they can get you, they'll go back and back again. So be very careful of this. Other scams you may see on social media, and you've probably seen these before, are things like for sale scams. You guys be careful selling things. You got to be careful buying things on social media, of course. And these are things like, my favorite is, I will be out of this person's obviously selling things or downsizing their home, and I will be out of town for the next weekend, but I will hold the items for you for deposit and mark it sold in your name. Do you think once you give this person your deposit, they're going to keep the item, or they even have the item to begin with? Exactly. Yeah, they're going to be put out, so they want you to be able to send them the money to be able to hold this item. So be very careful, of course, when you go to buy things on social media. So, how do you avoid these things? Again, kind of same things you're going to see. Look for those red flags. Watch out for promises of easy wealth. Verify offers and requests before taking any actions on these ones. And also verify the identity of the person contacting you. If you've already been contacted by these people, like maybe it's a family member who you have been asked to, be friends again, contact them directly and be like, hey, are you doing this? And let them know, hey, somebody's impersonating you, so you can get them to take action as well. And again, if these scammers, if they get your information or if you do click on links that they send you, they can put things on your devices like malware, spyware. If they get your social security number, they can use that and things like that. So that's why you want to be very careful about sharing any personal information online. Um, All right, what to do if you fall for a scam? So here's a couple different things. And if you fall for a scam, it has happened to a lot of people. Don't beat yourself up about this. It does happen. Sometimes we click too fast and we don't think about it. It just, it's just one of those things. One of the things I would do right away is check for malware and spyware on your device, your phone, your computer, your iPad, your tablet, whatever it is. Yes, I love that. One person was saying keep the security freeze on all accounts. We'll talk about that in a second. Check for malware, spyware on your devices. Call your financial institution up. If you are being called and said, hey, we would, this is Bank of America, this is BECU, whoever it is calling, spoofing you or trying to scam you, call up your financial institution and say, hey, I just got scammed trying to call me impersonating you all, so that they're aware of it too. Because chances are, if somebody's doing it to you, they're probably doing it to a number of people too, right? Place a security freeze on your credit files. Oh, I love that. How do you check for malware spyware? So you can actually check it yourself, but you can also go to like a place like GeekWire or Geek Squad, right? Places like that. You can actually take your phone devices to your like if you're with Verizon, take it to Verizon. You can go there. You can actually go to the library has places where you can do this too for free, so you can check it with them too. But you can check it like if you're with AT&T, take it to AT&T and say, hey, can you just do a check? You can take it to, if you have an iPhone, take it to Apple and be like, hey, Apple Store, can you just look for any files or look for a spyware, malware that is not correct or that's on my device? And places will help you. But like, there are classes or not classes, but there are places like libraries that help there as well. So take it to a trusted source. That's a good one. There's also things you can put on your phone or on your like norovirus or not norovirus, I'm sorry, I have kids. Um, Different type of antivirus software that you can update and put on like your phone, your computer, tablets, things like that. Place a security freeze on your credit files. So this is one of those things where if you have been a victim of identity theft, of scams, fraud, this might not be a bad idea, right? You put a freeze on your credit files, meaning that you call up like the different credit bureaus and you say like Experian.com, Equifax.com, TransUnion.com. You say, hey, I want to put a credit freeze on these credit files. And basically what it does is that nobody can take out um, open any type of credit in your name without your permission. Right. And they make it really easy to do this. The only thing I would say, caveat to this, is that if nobody can open up any credit in your name, but you cannot also open up any credit in your name without lifting that freeze. Case in point, I used to work in one of our branches when I first started, and this gentleman came in and he said, I'd like to open up a 500 or a $5,000 credit card or open, yeah. And I said, okay. So we, did the application, your credit was pulled, but there was a big sign that said, alert, alert, call this number, right? And so I had to call the number in front of me. It's like one of my first days on the job. I was freaking out. I was thinking, what do I do? Oh my gosh, is this a scammer in front of me? What do I do? My boss was like, just call the number in front of you. So I called. Jen was standing right in front of me. Ring, 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 ring. He picked up his cell phone. Hi. I said, hi, great. Can I proceed with this loan? And he said, yes, you can proceed with this loan. Great. We were good. Not even kidding. The next week later, another person came in and same thing, applied for a $5,000 credit card, and same situation. The thing popped up in front of me. I called the number that's listed on the report, and I literally sat there, ring, 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 and nothing. The gentleman in front of me did not pick up his phone. He was getting irate. I was like, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot proceed with this loan. Storms out, calls me her name in the book, storms out. I was like, oh my goodness, what just happened? No joke, he comes in about probably like 5 minutes later, just he looks down, he said, I'm so sorry. I forgot to update my information in on the credit bureaus. I had lost my phone. I got a new number. And he said, I forgot to update my information. I said, thank you for letting me know. You're going to need to get that changed so you can proceed with the loan. So if you do put a credit freeze on your credit files, make sure that your information is up to date. Report the scams to ic3.gov or FTC.gov. So ic3.gov is going to be your online. If you have a scam on an online scam that has happened to you, or that you fell for, that's where you're going to want to go. FTC is Federal Trade Commission.gov. That's for like identity theft, where you fill out a fraud report, things like that. And then notify the social media platform again, like we were saying before. Okay, so here's some kind of common red flags to look for sure. Anytime again, urgent requests for money. If somebody is trying to get you to send them money, so this happens a lot too with what we call grandparent scams. If you're maybe somebody's calling you. A grandparent saying, "Hey, grandma, grandpa, I'm in jail. I need you to bail me out for $200. Could you send me $200?" And they're like, "Oh, of course, I love you, Johnny. Of course, I'm going to send you $200." Right? And it's unfortunately it happens so often. So what you want to do is talk to your family, talk to your grandparents, talk to the people and say, hey, if you ever get a call from me, somebody claiming to be me, asking you for money, call me on my cell phone so you can verify it's actually me. Talk to your family. You may be really like, you may be very savvy on this stuff, which is great. They may not be. So talk to your friends and family about scams, right? It's not drugs anymore, it's scams. Common red flags again, unsolicited offers, unusual contact, grammatical errors or weird links. Again, a lot of these scams that you may see with emails, text messages may have weird grammatical errors in them because sometimes, a lot of times, they're not being originated from inside the United States where maybe English is not their first language. So watch for grammatical errors and things because if you're getting emails from like a financial institution, those emails should have been vetted and looked through many, many times for grammatical errors. So watch for those. It's usually a big red flag too. All right. How to protect yourself. Again, like we were saying, be careful with your personal information. I would say using strong passwords. So there's there's actually a couple of different apps out there that I use one now. My husband got me set up with one. I love it. It's one of those password services where, because we have passwords for everything and we don't want to use the same password, Johnny3 7 Sky Blue 70. You know what I mean? We don't want to use that one for the same one, but how do we keep track of all these stinking passwords? So there's password services, iPassword, things like that you can get. Turn on two-factor authentication. That's a good one too. Maybe especially if you're doing a lot of traveling, if you're in hotels, maybe you want to get like two-factor authentication. That might be good to use. Avoiding public Wi-Fi. Yeah, Password Manager. It's a great service. It's awesome. Very essential for nowadays, for sure. Avoiding public Wi-Fi for financial transactions and QR codes. If you are going to, which I'm sure you've already heard before, but if you're going to like places like a hotel for business, or you are using their Wi-Fi, I would just avoid using that Wi-Fi to check your financial institution or check your bank, check your checking account, right? Because your computer may be safe, but the Wi-Fi may not be safe. So I would just connect from their Wi-Fi service and just use your phone to check it, right? Or using that two-factor identification is really good. QR codes, I'm just gonna lay it out here for y'all. It's so sad. QR codes used to be so safe, right? You know what I'm talking about? The QR codes that you see, they're square, and you used to see them once or twice. Now you see them everywhere. They're on everywhere. They're on the back of bathroom stalls, right? They're everywhere. And you're like, ooh, and it's really easy because you can click on you can take your camera. It'll take you right to the link on for a QR code. Even nowadays, you gotta be careful with those ones. Why? Because people can put a fake QR code over those legit QR codes in public places. Like for instance, at a bus stop, people may have to put over a fake QR code and pasted it over the legit one. So you gotta be even careful with that. Yeah, you need to wake up. Parking meters, yes, parking meters, things like that. Super easy to fake. It's super easy to put things on there that aren't legit. So be careful of those ones too. I know they used to be so easy. Ugh. All right. That was a lot of information. I'm going to talk to you about some resources too, real fast. So where can you go to look for some more information about fraud and security? BCU has actually a QR code right there. BCU has a fantastic fraud and security center. We have a lot of different information on our website. I would encourage you to take a look at it. Again, there's just a lot of free information on there that you can look at and a lot of like different types of scams you would see. So check that out. Very, very helpful. You can just go to bcu.org and go to the fraud and security area. There's also things like, of course, BCU's got a lot of different things in terms of financial health. We also have a financial health section that you can look at here as well. A lot of things like different seminars and webinars, financial health check, you can look at that too. And this is one of those QR codes where I actually ask for feedback. I know it's so funny. After I talk about fraudulent QR codes, these are legit QR codes. So I know that was a lot of information. I would love it if you would mind providing feedback. We love getting this feedback from you all, telling us, what you liked about it, what you would like to hear more about or less about. Feel free to. Again, my name is Ruth Kaneko. That's the date there. The class titles, Understanding and Preventing Fraud. But again, thank you for hanging with me. I know that was a lot of information. I didn't get to too many questions just because I've been enjoying the chat though. Y'all have been doing some great things. And I'll send that out afterwards. I'll also send Sebastian the slide deck. So if you have any questions about that, I'll send that to you too if you like, so you can get that out as well. So again, I hope that was helpful. I'll go ahead and stop here and send it, Sebastian. I'll stop here and I'll see if there are any questions that came in. I will try to go back to the very beginning to see if we have any questions, but feel free to ask any questions away. But again, I hope that was very helpful for you.
What was the direct link instead of the QR code again?
Oh, yes. Thank you for the for the feedback. I will send that to Sebastian so you can get the direct link as well. So I'll send that your way. Thanks.